Hello everybody, I'm Steve Ritchie. I'm a still sculptor from Ashford in Kent. I've managed to finish a sculpture and get it delivered. Even these corona times. I've not been well myself, I've had an operation, but luckily I managed to get through the mill. I had an above water scene and a below water scene, so I had a boat and I had a sort of octopus set up with some kelp, that type of thing. So it's always scary taking things to somebody else to do something with it, because you spend so much time on a thing like this. You don't want someone to dent it, ruin it, put holes where they're not necessary, that type of thing. Galvanizers will tend to always want to try and let the liquid out as quick as they can, so they, for obvious reasons, and will poke extra holes in your ironwork. And well, anyway, so I'm always a bit nervous at this point. But very pleased with the outcome on the first one. Very pleased with that. I think that's come up lovely. Now this can live outside for ages now. This is something you can now pass on to your children and your grandchildren, because it's, yeah, that's going to live outside. So anyway, that's the underwater scene. And then same with the boat. I believe they've done a really quite a good job on it. It's a fiddly thing to hang without damaging it, but they didn't do any damage to it whatsoever, so very pleased with that. Well done, boys. And yeah, they tend to overwrap things a little bit for me. I could pick them up without them. Anyway, still, it gives me wrapping when I go to deliver it, so yeah, after these are painted they're going to be very delicate, so I know how to wrap them. I've got some wrapping, haven't I? Yeah, anyway, there's Boaty McBoatface. And I'm going to sell that into my house. Now, you really shouldn't do this sort of thing indoors. Please, boys and girls, don't do this indoors. I did it because it was pouring with rain and I'm still not very well, and I can't really walk around too quickly at the moment, so most of my life I've got to do sitting down. But I went round this 3 or 4 times, I think, hoovering in between, and you can't take enough care and attention, really. This has come back from the powder coaters. Obviously it's got a powder coat sort of undercoat to it. It's a battleship grey, which I can use. I'm planning to use the colour itself, but in the places that I want to paint, I want to give it a little bit of a scratch, get a bit of a weathering, and obviously lots and lots and lots of hoovering up. You don't want to get the dust everywhere, and that's what I came up with. So where you can see the battleship grey, that's where I haven't painted it at all, obviously. I've managed to get the waves sort of cutting through the sea there, and if you look very 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 carefully, you'll see where I put a lighthouse straight in binoculars. Yeah, try to get him up in a little bit of fishing gear. It's sort of in scale with a cab. It's not perfect in any shape or form. It's the kind of spirit of what was going on. It's yeah, it was good fun to build this one, that's for sure. I can't wait to see their reaction. It's very much in keeping with everything else they've got in and around the property, so that's why I like to visit the properties, because I've seen what they've got around the place and I see what they like. Hello, love, you all right? Yeah, so that's the boat. Now this is a fishing boat that him and his father put together, as I mentioned in an earlier film. I'll put a link in it of me making this boat. But the original, which is still around somewhere, he built with his father, and it was shell fishing they were doing. And yeah, I think that thing kept him busy for a good few years. There's certainly lots of photographs I've seen anyway. Looked like they had good fun on it. And yeah, I think it came out marvellous. It's sort of a scale that's, you know, a bit of a 2-man lift if you want to get it in position carefully. You can pick it up on your own, but yeah. And now I had the underwater scene. Now this was a little bit more challenging. I wanted a lot more colours in this. I had to sort of go through exactly the same rubbing and hoovering and such like, which with the underwater scene was even more difficult, really. I must have gone around this 10 times before I was satisfied that I'm just trying to sort of take the gloss off. You just want to give it a little key. Yeah, I'm going to be hitting this with hammerite paints, which shouldn't lift this powder coat. It's been cooked on, and but it still wants a key, still wants an ability to hang on there. And I'm going to be chucking all sorts of colours around this, and kind of looks quite groovy just in the Battleship grey, but yeah, it's yeah, it wanted some rubbing, this one. So I'm going to be lagging behind in the timing on this now because my film keeps jamming a little bit, so excuse me if I'm out of sync, but this is what I came up with on the paint. Did a little bit of research and realised that it's almost, you could paint an octopus any colour, but I've tried to keep the colours that you might find around the coastline around here, and we do get octopuses in the Kent coast, so I understand, and the lobster in there, you get blue lobsters, and I think I could be a little bit, open to the colouring a little bit, but anyway, it was again a lot of fun. Well, you'll see their reactions in a minute. I filmed their reactions when I delivered these. Now, to actually wrap them up and get them ready for taking them off to the customers, that was a bit scary. I didn't want to bash this about in any way, but yeah, you can cause damage with a thing like this, but again, we wrapped them really carefully. It was some local people that are only along the North Kent coast. If you ever get a chance to visit, I've got an American fan base. If you ever get a chance to visit Whitstable, they've got a beautiful bay there. And oh yeah, look, it's me getting ready for the rock and roll bit. Let me turn that booming volume off. Sorry about that. Yeah, so look, I filmed their last reactions. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe and do all those sort of things. It'd be great. And yeah, send us some little notes, will you? Right, the lighthouse I completely cheated on. As much as there is a lighthouse in this sculpture, but you've got to find it.
There's what?
There is a lighthouse in this sculpture somewhere, but you've got to find it. Oh, sorry.